Hey there from Oahu, Hawaii, Vicki O'Neill with the Marketing Stream, coming to you live as promised on Wednesdays. Unfortunately, it's not at my normal time. Hawaii time is 6 hours behind Eastern Standard Time. So if going live at 6 a.m. here, it's not going to work. It's too early for me, and plus it's still dark, and I don't think anyone would appreciate me going live at 6 a.m. here, especially outside. But as you can see, it is nice and sunny here, at least right now. It was raining earlier, and apparently October is the start of their winter months, which for Hawaii is start of rainy season. Temperatures are pretty consistent throughout the year, but this is a very humid temperature here as well. I think it's 74 right now, but it's very humid, so it feels a lot warmer. But coming from Ohio, we're used to the humidity there, so we're doing well. Got my mask, which of course is a requirement. I'm staying in one place, and there's no one around me right now, so I should be safe. If people start walking around, I have to put my mask on. But we got here on Friday. It was a very long day. We ended up, Tom and I, my now husband, we got married yesterday in Oahu, and yeah, so we got hitched. I am now a wife. I now have a hubby. He's actually working right now, so I can see our room from here. He's still working, doing a little bit of work this morning, so I thought I'd come down here and connect, see if anyone was live and would connect with me live and chat. It doesn't look like anyone's here right now, but that's okay. I'm still gonna stay on here for a few more minutes and just kind of review a few things that we've been doing while we've been here. Got here Friday, like I said, very long day. We were up in fact, Tom didn't talk at all, or talked. He didn't sleep at all the night before, and we're at, let's just say 3:15 Ohio time in the morning to catch our flight. Got to the airport 5 minutes late and weren't able to take that flight. So just take it all the way through. We ended up getting here a little bit later than we had planned, but we were up for almost, let's see here. Actually, we were up over 24 hours because it would have been like 5 a.m. Ohio time. It was 11 p.m. Hawaii time by the time we actually went to bed, got to our hotel room, and got to bed. So it was, hey, Diana. Hey there. Thanks for joining live. I appreciate you being here. It's getting warmer now, getting toasty. Sun's coming out. It was raining earlier and very cloudy, so it looks like it might clear up the rest of the day. But you kind of see that's the place that we're staying behind me. You can see that. And then I'm just standing on a grassy area where nobody's around me because I have to wear my mask. Got my mask with me. So you can see the ocean out there, I think. It's hard for me to see now with sun's in my eyes. Hey, April. Hey there. Thanks for joining live. Hi. Thank you, guys. I am so jealous of your beautiful back. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. I'm going to go walk on the sand here in a few minutes. Tom and I did that yesterday, or actually, I think it was 2 days ago. Yeah, it was 2 days ago. We walked on the beach, and yeah, it's hot. It's very hot and humid, which is last time when we were here, it was March of 2017, so it was spring, and it wasn't quite as humid. It was obviously warm, but not as bad. Yeah, so we're doing well today. We are actually going to go to Pearl Harbor. We went last time we were here. We didn't get to go out to the USS Arizona, which is the one that we actually went. Well, we wanted to see both of them. The other one was really cool too. And so we're going to do that today. And there are some really cool waterfalls in an area of the mountains here on Oahu that we're going to go see too. Somebody was telling us about it the other night when we were at a restaurant. And when we looked it up, we're like, we've got to go see this. It's like a beautiful natural scene and just like a ton of waterfalls, like in the crevices of the mountains. So we're going to go do that today. And let's see here. Hey, Teresa. Thanks so much for joining. I appreciate you being here. I actually mentioned actually the restaurant I was just mentioning. I was talking to some people at that restaurant. I'm like, yeah, a friend had told me about Duke's because they had mentioned Duke's, which is a restaurant that you had recommended. And a lot of restaurants here are still closed, or a lot of them, like different places. We've had 2 reservations through Open Table that we made, and one was canceled right before we got there. And then yesterday, actually, the place that we wanted to go, we got a notification that the reservations were canceled and that that location now is temporarily closed. So some that were even open are starting to close, and some that were closed are starting to open. So every day it's a little uncertain with COVID and just what's going on. They're very strict here. So everywhere we go, they take, not every place takes our temperature, but every place we go, they want our information, you know, our name, our address, our phone number, our email. So they are wanting to track everyone. And when we got here on Friday, it was interesting because that was they opened on, all of Hawaii opened on October 15th, and we got here on October 16th. So they had walked through the airport, and then we had like a bunch of tables lined up where everybody was essentially getting screened, and they had different lines. If you haven't gotten your pre-testing, you go in this line. We did get pre-tested, and of course came back negative, different line. And they checked all your documentations. They wanted to make sure they had the official documents for the negative COVID testing, and they're making sure that you don't have a temperature in some locations. So they are being very strict, as they should be, here with COVID, and just making sure that it's not spreading anywhere. We saw on one of the digital highway signs yesterday that they had 66 cases on Oahu. So it didn't say what it was prior to that, but I'm going to watch that and see, at least between today and tomorrow, because we leave tomorrow and go to the Big Island, if we can still get there. But they had the numbers there, so I wasn't sure if that was increasing or decreasing, but it was like 2.9% of the population. So hopefully that number is, they're displaying it as a way to say, hey, the numbers are starting to go down, which obviously was the intent. And with them opening everything up on October 15th, hopefully those numbers don't go up either. So I'm going to go through here. Let me see. Teresa, if you go to North Shore, check out. We went to Giovanni's. That was one of the places that we went. We had actually gone there last time when we were here too, Teresa. And we absolutely loved it. We went, what's today? Wednesday. I think we went there on Monday. Yeah, we did a lot of driving on Monday. And that was the place that we stopped. We were actually looking for it because it was so good. Yeah, so they were open. We were surprised since it's a food truck. And they actually had quite a few food trucks in that area. So it was really cool. Hey, Monique, thanks for being here. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to go through these comments real quick and make sure I'm not missing anybody. I don't know if I can pull these up. I'm on my mobile, obviously, as you can see my arms out here. So I don't know if I can pull up comments or not on the screen, but you guys can see each other's names. Giovanni's is awesome. Love that. Let's see here. Amazing. Hey, Andrew. Thanks so much for being here live. I appreciate it. Did you have your wedding planned before COVID? We did, but we did not want to like share that information just because we didn't know if we were actually going to be able to have it once we got here. So I had been talking with a reverend. We went through I should have checked the name of the app before I got on here. But there's an app where you can like coordinate weddings and stuff with people who are licensed to wed you here. And I connected with 2 people, and I really liked the gentleman that we ended up using. He was super helpful, not just with like the wedding and the plans and stuff, but he was very helpful in keeping us updated on the latest COVID information and updates and things that we needed to watch out for. And interesting story, this just gave me chills thinking about it. So he works for the emergency medical system here in Oahu, or on Oahu. And Tom and I were going to Best Buy because he needed a battery for his camera so we could video the wedding. And we, there's a plane going overhead. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. So we're sitting in the car, and I get a phone call from him. His name's Kahu Dean, so which means Reverend Dean. He called me, and I was just thinking he was going to give me some updates on COVID or whatever. And he's like, Vicki, I don't want you to panic, but their might be, or there was an earthquake in Alaska. It was 7.5, and we now have to be on alert for, oh crap, now what's it called? I'm thinking tidal wave. It's not a tidal wave. Crap, what's it called? Now I'm ruining the story. Teresa, you're gonna be upset with me now. Here I was trying to tell a good story and I'm not getting it right. Crap, what's it called? Anyway, so, you know, when the water comes back and it comes in, I'm trying to think, all I can think of is Thailand when I think of it, which I hate that. But so he's just like, now we're on high alert within the next 24 hours. And this was on, I think it was on Monday. And he's like, I don't want you to panic or anything, but I just wanted to give you a heads up in case you hear like a bunch of sirens and there's all kinds of activity going on. So I was like, okay, well, here's my first thought is that my oldest daughter, Kayla, is in Alaska. She's in Anchorage right now. And that was my first thought was like, oh crap, is she okay? So as soon as I got off the phone with him, that was my first phone call. And she said she was fine. She's in Anchorage, and where the earthquake happened was in like the lower peninsula. There's like a, you know, a piece of land, looks like a finger at the bottom of Alaska. And it happened on like the southeast side of it. So where Anchorage is, I'm surprised they didn't feel it. But she said she was fine. I kept checking in with her and everything was fine. And then the Reverend, he kept me updated too. And then finally told me, he's just like, okay, we're in the clear. So I was like, oh, thank God. So I could just imagine. That's my worst fear is dying by drowning. So here we are in this island and now we have this warning. I'm like, oh my God, I am now going to die the worst way possible that I ever thought that I would. So just, it was a panic moment, but everybody's fine. Nothing ever happened. So we're very thankful of that, obviously. But I'm trying to read these. Sorry. Let me see if I can make my screen brighter. That might help. There we go. That makes it a little easier. Yeah, everybody's okay. Tsunami. Yes, thank you, Teresa. A tsunami. That's what it was. Thank you, guys. I should have been watching my screen. So yeah, it was the tsunami. Yeah, so thank God that didn't come through. You want to hear about the wedding? Okay, so the wedding was, my husband and I went there for our honeymoon. Oh, you guys came to Oahu, Teresa? Check out the Sacred Falls if you can. It's a beautiful hike and you can swim there. Ooh, that sounds interesting. I'll have to give that a check. Some of the parks are still closed and like the hiking trails. So we will check that out. So I'll have to go back to these Sacred Falls if you can. So you are getting married there, right? We already did, Teresa. We actually got married yesterday. Yeah, so I am now a married woman. It's official. So the wedding. So Tom and I were planning this beforehand, and you know, we just kind of wanted to wait and see. Didn't want to announce it just in case something happened where we couldn't actually get married. To me, that just that's hard to do. Like to me, that's devastating. It's like, okay, you get your hopes up and you've got all these plans, and then something out of control ends up shutting it down. And then to communicate that to people, to me, is just, I'd rather celebrate the good news. So I just wanted to wait and hold it off. So it was a very simple ceremony. Like I mentioned, the Reverend was very helpful and very flexible because we kept changing the location. We originally wanted to get, this is going to sound crazy, but we wanted to get married in the bamboo forest, one of the locations where he was going to propose to me originally when we were here in 2017, and then didn't for, it was his son's birthday and he didn't want the dates to mix and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, it has a meaning to us, not just from that, but we're huge Lost TV fans. And there's a lot of meaning behind that for us too. So we've wanted to get married in the bamboo forest. And we went back there, looked at different locations. And thanks, Andrew. I appreciate that. You did your honeymoon in Hawaii. Okay, great. That's awesome. Yeah, it's beautiful here. I absolutely love it. I'm trying to see if I can see Tom out. Nope, he's not out yet. So it's getting really sweaty. I probably should put my hair up. It's so back, yeah, to the wedding. So a super simple ceremony. He was very very easy, very flexible because we kept changing the location. So we were going to do bamboo forest. We ended up at the last minute. We were going through Honolulu, different streets on Honolulu, And we saw the church that, if you've seen the Lost TV series, in the last episode, it's the church in the last episode where, everything's revealed and they go on. So we're like, let's stop in here. And it's a Catholic church. So obviously, I mean, I'm Catholic, Tom's not, but even though if we were both Catholic and wanted to get married there, you still have to plan that ahead of time to actually get married in the church. And so we're like, I wonder if we could get approval to do a wedding here. And they have like a little open area in the middle where there was a gazebo. So we're like, well, let's go. And we didn't think that they were going to say yes. And we went in, we talked to the lady in the office. She connected us with Sister Catherine, who's the main person who does like tours and all that kind of stuff. We talked to her, and actually the Marianists that are associated with that church are in Dayton. They're associated with the University of Dayton, which is close to where we are. And I went to high school at Chaminade Julienne, which is in downtown Dayton. So it was like all of a sudden we had this very close connection with Sister Catherine. And through that conversation, we were telling her we've always, how much we love the Lost TV show. We really would like to get married in that location. But obviously we understand if we can't. And she's like, oh, no, you guys can get married here. So we were like ecstatic. And I know Tom, when he went to go tell the lady in the office that, that we were able to, he had like this, bounce in his step. Like he was super excited that we could actually make this happen. So, so she approved us getting married there. She's just like, anything to keep marriages together. If you're going to get married, if this makes you happy, we can do this here. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. So it was just awesome that there was somebody who was like, genuinely interested in allowing us to get married in this location. So that was on Tuesday, or I'm sorry, Monday. I keep thinking today's Thursday. That was on Monday. So it was the day before we ended up changing the location, which was good because if you've seen the photos, the dress that I was wearing, which is a dress I've had, it wasn't anything I went to buy. It was just perfect. It was white. It was strapless. It was more of a like a sundress. It had an eyelet overlay. Any guys watching this, you may not know that, but just like the little holes in it. So it was a perfect dress to have. My headpiece is falling out. So we went ahead and I ordered the flowers and everything through the Reverend. He organized everything. We actually had like a Hawaiian ceremony. So there's part of the ceremony where, and it goes back to the Phoenician times. The pharaohs, and just a tradition they had because they didn't have like ceremonies where they exchanged rings and had flowers and had invite people to be there, which we didn't. But the way that they solidified their marriage was they would take separate cups of soil from the land, where they were, and they would take the sand and soil and actually pour them in separate containers. The guy would have one, the female would have one. And they would pour them together into one container to signify two separate lives now coming together as one, which we thought was really cool. So he did that, and he had sand from Oahu. And then he said his wife was, he thought girls should have something sparkly. So she came up with this idea with glitter. So I had a container of glitter, red glitter, and I could choose the color. And Tom had the sand. And so we went ahead and combined those as part of the ceremony. He did a like a Hawaiian chant. What that was, I'm not sure why that just happened. The screen just kind of went out and came back. But I've asked him if we could have a copy of that. So hopefully he will come back and say that we can have a copy of that. But it was like maybe a 15-minute ceremony, if that. We exchanged vows, and we just did the vows that he had. Again, we kept it super simple. Tom videoed the whole thing. It was very emotional. And if you've been married, I know Teresa's married, Diana's married, Monique's married. Andrew, I'm not sure if you're married or not, but if as part of that ceremony, Diana, I know you're married. As part of that process, you don't realize that it's going to be emotional until you actually get into that situation and, facing each other and saying these words. It was very emotional in a good way that it made it even more special than I ever could have imagined. So it was very cool. And we're both super excited. He now has a ring on his finger, which is interesting. He's just like, I'm not one to wear jewelry. And I'm like, okay, but so he does the same thing I do, is we wear it when we go out, but then when we come home, we take it off. So I'm not much for jewelry either. So it was really cool. And we've just been enjoying ourselves ever since. In fact, one of the restaurants that we were going to go to was the restaurant that we'd gone to before, and had got engaged. And that's the one that had canceled on us at the last minute. So unfortunately, we weren't able to go back to the same place, where we got engaged and then go back after we got married. So it's fine. We made it work and just went someplace else. The point is that we're together, right? So yeah. So and then the rest of the day we went to different places. We kind of explored the island a little bit more. There's not a lot of places where you can go to like celebrate, like, drink, but we did go and we had a couple of margaritas to celebrate because they sounded good. Super hot. So why not, right? Cool drinks. Nope, not married, but I am ordained and able to do ceremonies. Oh, that's very cool, Andrew. See, if you would have been here, I could have reached out to you and said, hey, would you mind marrying us? Oh, that's awesome. Cool. Yeah, you'll get to experience that when you get married. It's a completely different feeling. So yeah, I'm waiting for Tom to wrap up his morning things that he's got to get done for work. He's in the mortgage business. So he works with getting people's loans approved. And that's a process that you just can't put on hold for 2 weeks. So it's something that he's going to continue to do. He wants to taper down and not have anything to do the second week that we're here. But of course, if there are things that require his attention, then he's going to need to do that. So, and that's perfectly fine with me. I know that's what's helping pay the bills. So got to keep working, right? Yeah. Do you guys have any questions for me or anything that you want me to send pictures of or anything that you want to see on Oahu? Tomorrow, we got to do some research. Our plans are to go to the Big Island, but they've got stricter COVID guidelines there. So we're going to have to wait and see if we can actually do that now or not. So we may end up staying here for a few more days because our next reservation with the timeshare that we're getting this is somebody that Tom works with. And he was so kind to, he was paying for this anyway. So he gave it to us for like super cheap. And so we're staying here in this beautiful hotel. And there's another one like this. That's when we're going to travel there. And then we travel back on the 31st, getting back into Ohio on the 1st. So it's going to be it'll be a long trip back. I know it was here, but there's something about flying overnight that just doesn't do well with me. I'm not a red eye kind of girl. It just messes with my sleep. But hopefully with the time change and when we get back, be super tired that night, sleep, get a long night's sleep, and then be ready to go the next day. That's the plan anyway. Thank you for sharing your story. Aw, thanks, Diane. I appreciate that. It sounds beautiful. It actually was. It was an awesome day. I'm so happy that things worked out the way that it did. I'm glad that we worked with someone who was so knowledgeable and understanding and flexible, and just wanted to make it a super special day for us, knowing that was one of the reasons why we were coming here. So yeah, we were actually his first wedding post-COVID too. So that's kind of cool to know that. I haven't been doing a lot of work. I had some final touches to do on my YouTube videos, uploading them on Thursdays. So tomorrow I've got a video that I'm uploading. It's already scheduled to publish on, it's just the top 3 videos that have gotten the most engagement and likes over the last 6 months. So I kind of did like a summary of those 3 with info cards. So if there's one of interest, then you can just click on the info card and go to that video and watch it in its entirety. But if I would have done 4, Teresa, you would have been on there. It was the 4th highest viewed video on my channel. And I interviewed Teresa for Connected Dots, my podcast. And I put the video, we did the video and the audio. The video was the 4th highest in that 6-month time frame on YouTube for me. So that would have been kind of cool. to include that one in there. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything that you want me to see, you love it. Awesome. Nice way to get work done with minimal work. Exactly. No work. No work. I'm doing as little as possible. I mean, I check stuff here and there, but for the most part, I'm not doing anything. I really don't want to. I feel so. There we go. I lost you guys for a minute. Relaxation at work. I agree, Andrew. I completely agree. Thanks, Diana. It really was a great interview, wasn't it, with Teresa? She shared so much information about how to tell a story and why it's important to tell a story. And she does a phenomenal job. She really does. If you guys haven't checked her out, go to Teresa's website, whystoryworks.com, and check her out. And then also, if you want to go to my YouTube channel and check out the interview, the video interview, that's there as well. So you'll see that as the cover of that as well. I agree with Andrew. Yeah, exactly. And it's been awesome not working, honestly. I don't want to leave people hanging because I didn't like announce it to everybody that I was going to be gone for 2 weeks. That's the only part that kind of gets to me. It's just like, well, if somebody's asking a question and I don't get back to them for like, 2.5 weeks, that, to me, it just seems kind of rude. So I'm not posting anything new, and I'm hoping that it'll kind of taper off over the next couple of days. But I really don't want to work. We've been, just like everybody else, so cooped up in our homes forever because we wanted to make sure we didn't get COVID before we came here. And part of that means you can't leave your house. So while it's good practice for coming here, it also creates a little bit of stir craziness because we're in the same place, and he and I both work from home all the time. So it just gets a little bit much. Like we just needed a new scene. We needed to do something different, and this was perfect. The timing was perfect. So hopefully when we get back, there'll be some COVID restrictions, that we can go out and about and not worry about the risk of getting it, obviously, because then we don't have to worry about not being able to go someplace. Out of office is for it. Yes, exactly. It's the like the LinkedIn, like somebody had tagged me in a LinkedIn post. I can't remember if it was I think it was John Asperian had tagged me in a LinkedIn post, and or maybe it was Jeff Young. I think it was John. He had tagged me, and I have all my notifications turned off so that it's not constantly dinging, which is good. But at the same time, I didn't want to leave him hanging. He had tagged me, so I wanted to make sure I addressed it. I don't think he knew that I was coming to Hawaii. So again, just trying to do the right thing, not keep people waiting. So yeah, I will definitely start winding down. Thanks for being here, Diana. I appreciate it. I'll go ahead and let you guys go. I will go live again next Wednesday again. I won't have a wedding story to tell you, but hopefully there'll be some additional beautiful stories and experiences that we're having between now and next Wednesday when I go live that I can share with you guys as well. And I'll be back in the office the following Wednesday, which is I think it's the 4th, November 4th. So you won't have this beautiful scenery any longer. No more. Be back to the same old, same old. I'll have to dress that up a little bit. All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you being here. I hope you guys are all doing well. It sounds like you are. And thanks so much for tuning in today. I appreciate it. And until next time, mahalo and aloha. Bye.